Once you've got the bare bones of your web page ready to go, you'll probably be thinking that it could look better. You're right about that too. Sorry. Fortunately, Dreamweaver has some great tools that will make it easy to get everything looking the way you want. The first place to go if you're interested in formatting your web page is the Page Properties option. Go to the Modify menu and scroll down to Page Properties. Here we have a number of options that will help us format our web page. Title refers to the title that will come up in the menu bar at the top of the page where other people view your page in their web browsers. Background image gives you the option to set an image as the background of your page. You can use this to create a cool tiled background, but be careful to not make something too distracting to your visitor or something that takes too long to load. The image you set as your background image will repeat over and over again, which can be very distracting if the image is a photograph. So instead, we'll just use a solid color as our background. You can change the background color of your page here by using the palette box next to the background. Click on the palette box and all manner of colors will pop up. For our site, let's set this to be a light gray. Notice that when we select the color we want, a series of numbers and letters pops up in the field next to the palette box. This is called a hex code. A hex code is a 6-digit set of numbers and letters that refers to a specific shade of color. Hex codes are what HTML uses to set colors on your web page. We should also pick colors for our text and links using the palette boxes next to each option. The Page Properties window is good for making changes for your entire page, but what if you want to get more specific? Those changes are easy if we use the Properties panel. The Properties panel is a panel that allows you to make changes to nearly all HTML elements of your site. You can use it to change the alignment of text, link addresses, and all sorts of table formatting. You can bring up the Properties panel by going to the Window menu and scrolling down to Properties. Let's use the Properties panel to make some changes to our portfolio site's text and table. We'll look at our text first. Text formatting in Dreamweaver works a lot like any word processor. We simply select the text we wish to format, then use the Properties panel to select our preferred font, size, and color. Remember, you should only use universally common fonts like Times New Roman, Helvetica, or Arial. All computers will have these fonts, so you'll be able to maintain a similar look across all browsers. Also, in order for your text to be readable, the color needs to have high contrast to the background. No one will be able to read light red text against a dark red background. Try keeping the white text on dark backgrounds or black text on light backgrounds. For now, let's change the font of our main text from default to Helvetica. We can also increase the size so that it's easier to read. See? Easy. But the table we're using to create our page layout could use some work. Fortunately, we can use the Properties panel to make changes here as well. We have 2 rows and 2 columns, a header image, a section for our main content, and a navigation bar. Let's make some changes to the formatting of this table. To change the background color of any cell, simply click inside the cell. Then, in the Properties panel, click the box next to BG to open your palette box. Let's give the cell containing our navigation a dark gray background. Another thing we can do with the Properties panel is add rows and columns to our table. So, since we need a footer on our website, we can use this panel to add an extra row to the bottom of the table. All we have to do is click on the outside edge of the table so that the Properties panel will change to give us the table properties. You'll know this has happened because the Properties panel will say Table ID in the top left-hand corner. Now in the Properties panel, change the number of rows from 2 to 3. A new row will appear automatically at the bottom. Here you can put any information you want to include in your footer, like copyright information or your email address. This is only a fraction of the things we can change using the Properties panel. If we click on the Table tag in the status bar, we can change the background color of our table, add a border, and modify the cell padding and cell spacing. Cell padding and cell spacing, remember, are the margins between cells and inside cells. So take some time and experiment with various settings when working on your page. Try changing the colors of text in cells to create high contrast, or adding extra padding between various cells. Don't be afraid of trial and error. The important thing is to figure out what looks best. Don't worry about the mistakes you make on the way to perfection.